And the COVID-19 pandemic has forced many educational institutions around the world to switch to online learning. Despite its promotion of quality education through innovation and technology, challenges such as access to internet facility may mar students' participation. And joining me now to talk about the challenges and how to promote online learning is a director of Center for Education Quality Assurance, Tola. Good to have you join us, Tola.
Thank you.
So, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen students, especially in the primary and secondary level, receiving lessons or, lectures from home. But around the world, we've also seen those in tertiary education receiving, their lectures from home. How well have we integrated technology into, with education here as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, obviously, COVID-19 disrupted the education ecosystem globally, and that has led us to improvise and innovate. Like you just mentioned, all over the world, kids don't go to school in many countries since the lockdown. And even though that resumed recently, had to go back home again. And so far, we've adopted the blended and hybrid learning system, where you combine both traditional physical face-to-face learning and remote or online learning. Well, Nigeria as a country, we have tried our best, taking a cue from the Lagos State government, and even a couple of private schools here in Nigeria are using what we call the blended stroke hybrid learning system, where students go to school on a particular week and do not go on a particular week and take the other lectures or lessons online through various technology-driven platforms. So I think COVID came suddenly, and I believe we are really matching up with that using technology.
So there was this worry when we moved to the online learning platforms, and people were worried about the public schools. People were also worried about low-income private schools. What are you hearing about these people who are students who are in this category of public and low-income private schools? Have they been able to integrate well, or are they left behind?
Well, from experience, I work with a number of low-income private schools and also relate very well with public schools. From my view, I believe they've been relatively integrated into this new model, which we refer to as either the blended or hybrid learning system. Let me give quick examples. For instance, a co-excel at home, one of Lagos State government innovations, where public school students, students especially, including those from low-income schools, can still access the same level of quality education that they get when they are in class. In fact, at times it's far much better. I also remember, I also came across something called EduBox, especially for children who are in very remote communities. And EduBox, for instance, was developed interestingly by public school teachers. Yeah, two of them in Ogun State.
That's interesting.
Yeah, public school teachers in Ogun State, where they use a technology called Raspberry. And through this technology, you don't need the internet. It's just a box instant that can be taken anywhere in the world, even when there's no internet, and kids can connect devices to that particular box and still learn. I know that is happening in some parts of Nigeria now, especially some parts of the east and the north.
So that's highly commendable and interesting to see that people are taking the initiative to come up with things like this. But how do we sustain and improve on the success that we have gained during the COVID-19 pandemic?
I think one of the ways of improving and sustaining, because sustainability is key, is we have to look inward, like I mentioned. Those people that develop this thing called EduBox, are Nigerians. You get my point now. How do we encourage such technology to come up more? For instance, I remember Union Bank, for instance, that's talking about the corporate sector now, the private sector, did Edu 360 sometime last year, where they really promoted education technology. I remember also during the lockdown, there was a particular event by the Mandela Washington Fellowship Alumni Association called the Beyond School Community Challenge, where they were able to reach out to secondary schools all over Nigeria and secondary students through online platforms. They thought it was not going to be possible. As part of that process, entered into a challenge where secondary school students preferred technology solutions to access to quality education and other challenges we faced during COVID and certainly post-COVID. And they came up with a number of solutions as well. And remember, like I said, it's online. None of the kids were seen, and they did excellently well through these online platforms. So I think if, for instance, corporate Nigeria or the corporate sector can be more involved, if we can look at our policies for this, because we're looking at our policies that have to do with education. How does it promote education? Our quality assessment processes, the way of technology integrated into that process is very, very key. So policy making is very, very key. And number three, which is important to mention, content development. Our educators, our teachers, are they trained in terms of developing content stand for innovation and for technology? We need to encourage that, very important.
Absolutely. Great points you just made there. Director, Center for Education Quality Assurance, Tola. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.